G'day everyone, Spuddy from Spuds Games. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video, I'm going to run you through my new gaming setup. Let's go. So here we go, let's go for a bit of a tour. So the room itself is not very big, it's only the size of a medium bedroom. But as you can see, it does hold a lot of stuff. And there's room for more, and I'll run you through what my plans are. But as you walk in there, you're greeted with this cupboard. It's got all my Nintendo Switch stuff in it, which will probably end up moving out to the lounge room because my son plays that a lot. It's got basically a whole shelf, or double shelf, full of Dreamcast games, both PAL and NTSC, and then some game guides down the bottom. Got some retro computers there with the C64 and the TI-994A. Next to that, normally I do have the Amiga 1200, but that's powered up at the moment. And I've got this LCD broadcast monitor. I'll do a video on that because it's a really cool monitor, especially for the old computers. Then we come across a bit of a display cabinet, and on display there I've got my Horizon Zero Dawn stuff. I love that game. Got the Lego statues, game guides, etc. And we come down. I've just mainly put more unique stuff from my collection here. I got rid of a lot of my collector's editions things because, I just wasn't opening them and they essentially weren't getting displayed at all. But I did keep, a lot of the good stuff. Then we've got a shelf over here where I hold all my video game consoles. Well, not all of them, but most of them and the ones I play. And then we come down, got laser discs, some more books, Game Gear, Vita, and then a couple of spare shelves there. And then basically the heart of everything. Got my gaming desk here. It's a long gaming desk. It's about 1.8 meters long, but really deep. I think it's 600 mil deep. So that's what I wanted because this particular area with my gaming PC, I also use that for work. So that allows me to push the keyboard back, bring in my Surface Pro for work, and either dock it or just use it with plenty of space. But I'll run you through the specs of that PC later on. Then we come across to my Amiga 1200. And then we've got my retro DOS computer, my 486, 266. And then we've got some more pictures on the wall. And then we come across to the PVMs for the retro video games. So I've got two there, which they can be linked together, so you can display both outputs at the same time. I just haven't done that yet. I haven't got enough of the BNC connectors for the SCART cables to do that, which are on order. But yeah, I'm able to do that, have them both going at the same time at the moment, unless I bring out two different consoles, which I didn't really want to do at the moment. Now on top of that, you'll see there's actually a cap kit for this. When I swapped this or got this PVM, the guy provided a cap kit for 7 Pat, and I thought, you know what, I was going to leave that there so I don't lose it. And then underneath here, you'll see this nice white cabinet. That holds my pride and joy because in that cabinet, I have all of my Sega Saturn stuff. So pretty much a full Sega Saturn Power collection, with the exception of about 6 or 7 games. So, those drawers are full, except for that bottom one, which is only about a quarter full. I just left some spare space for NTSC games, JNTSC games, and the remainder of the Saturn games that I need. And then last but not least, we've got this cupboard here. So this is a big double wardrobe, which does get used as an office as well, but this particular section is all video game stuff. Now, apologies, it's a little bit untidy at the moment, but it allows me to keep a lot of stuff here that I couldn't put on display, or I will put on display, but at the moment it's just sort of stored away. So, that'll get tidied up, but that's a lot of the other stuff that I've bought from outside as well. So let's run you through the components one by one that I use. This is my gaming PC in the background. I won't delve into the actual pictures of it, although I probably could, but I won't at the moment. It's a Z690A gaming Wi-Fi motherboard, DDR5, RAM, obviously 32 gig of DDR5 RAM with that. 12 side for 700KF, I think it's a 12th gen, maybe 13th gen, not sure, i7 CPU. So it runs, all the games that I want it to in 4K, not a problem. That's a 4K 120Hz monitor behind me. I think it's a 27-inch monitor, so it runs all my games that I want to play just fine. The headset you can see is a Logitech Pro X wireless headset. There's a Razer wireless mouse just here, and a HyperX mechanical keyboard there you see as well. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I will look at upgrading in the future, mainly the graphics card. Once the 40 series starts coming down in price, then I'll look at upgrading that. But for now, you know, it runs everything at 4K that I want it to run. Most of the stuff it can run at 120 Hertz. Fortnite sort of gets to about 100 Hertz. But yeah, it does all what I want it to do. So all in all, pretty happy with that. That monitor also shares with my PlayStation 5 here, because it does have two HDMI 2.1 inputs. So the PC is running one, obviously with the 4K stuff, 120 Hertz, and then the PlayStation takes up the other one. I also got the Nintendo dock there, you can see at the back. That runs up to the non 2.1 HDMI, so just more 1080 stuff. I think actually the Switch is 720, but it just runs to one of the standard inputs there. And then over here I'll run you through the other parts of it as well. So the next thing I'll show you here is my, I suppose, retro computer setup. At the moment, I've got the A1200 set up, and I'll do a video on that because there's some really cool features of the A1200 I had no idea about, especially in and around the Amiga CD stuff. You can actually see a game called Banshee running in the background there. I'm hoping you can see it. That's an Amiga CD game running through the 1200. So yeah, really unique, but I just don't use this station here for the 1200. The 1084 monitor obviously also does S-video and composite, so I can also plug my Commodore 64 into that. And if I really wanted to, I could do composite on the TI as well. But the TI can output components, so I'd probably rather do that through one of the PVMs or even through that little LCD monitor I've got, which I'll obviously do a video on later on. But this is where I have my older computers set up. The power supplies are all there, they're all hidden underneath, as well as the extra video cables and whatnot. So it's just a matter of pulling the A1200 out and just swapping it over with mainly the C64. So this is my retro PC 486 computer. I do have another Windows 98 computer out in the garage, which is great, runs a Voodoo 3 and whatnot, but for the moment I like running the 486 and playing the 486. It's a bit of a beast for 486. It's a 486 266, has a VLB 2 megabyte Senglabs. I think it's an ET4000 WP32 card in it, which back in the day was one of the fastest DOS cards you could get on the VLB bus. So you can see there it's running Doom just fine, which a lot of the VLB cards, they're running quite slow. But once I have the turbo kicked in, or the standard speed of the computer running with that graphics card, then I don't have any issues running Doom. It can run Duke 3D quite well as well in 640 by 480, but if I step up to, or doesn't actually, that card doesn't have SVGA. So as soon as I go to 800 by 600, then yeah, it drops out. So, but it runs Duke 3D fine. It runs Wing Commander fine, as long as I cut the bus speed, which is quite unusual for 486. People usually always say, oh no, you need Wing Commander to run on a 386 for the correct speed, but I've had no issues on the 486 as long as I cut the turbo button. Up the top there, you'll see on the side of the monitor 2 JBL speakers. No, they're not part of the monitor. They're just industrial Velcroed on. They are shielded speakers, and they give a nice sound. I won't say they're the best quality speakers, but I don't need booming sound from that computer. I sit pretty close to it, as you can see. It puts out a nice sound. So I've just used some industrial Velcro on the side of the Trinitron there. Don't worry, it'll peel off fine if I don't need it anymore. I didn't want to drill holes in the case and whatnot, and the speakers were kind of getting in the way at the bottom. So I just use that industrial Velcro and it holds them just fine. But all in all, really happy. This is one of my pride and joys, this 486 266. Took me a lot of time to get the right case and everything working, but once I got everything working, it runs fine. Oh, the other thing I should mention too, it has a Sound Blaster 32 in there, which is quite rare. I think it has 4 megabyte of memory in there as well for the wavetable, but yeah, it's also quite good sound as well. So that's a bit of my pride and joy. And you can see there I've got the Doom box there just to show off a little bit. That's a complete Doom Manacom original Doom floppy disk games. So now onto the section where I play the retro video games. You can see I've got the Mega Drive hooked up there. This is PVM 20 L2 CRT Pro broadcast monitor, 600 TVL, really nice picture. Has a much warmer picture than this. So this one here is a PVM 2010 QM. So this one's much older than this one by about 15 years. So this one's only 300 TVL, but it gives a really bright picture compared to that one. But this one here gives a much sharper image. So a little bit warmer image, but certainly much sharper than this one here. So it depends on your preference on what you like. My goal is there if you're playing 2 players, some people rather than looking at one screen, 2 players, they can actually look at different screens because both of these have loop in, loop out features. So one player can be looking at this one player can be looking at that one. And they both each have different characteristics. I suppose it depends on which one you like, whether you like the bright pop-out type RGB or whether you like the sharp, crisp scan lines and a bit warmer picture. So all in all, very happy. Both 20-inch. I've tried to get away with 14-inch, even 17-inch, but it's just too small for my eyes. Had to do a lot of swapping and whatnot during the break I had and ended up settling on these two. Hopefully I have a 27 on the way, but you know that's a bit iffy at the moment. So if I do, I'll do a video on that obviously. But for now, these two 20-inch PVMs do me just fine. So that's it, guys. That's the new gaming room. Yes, it's much more smaller than a full double garage, but at the end of the day, I'm much happier with this because I'm much more comfortable. I can sit in here. No, I'm not going to have bugs around my feet. I'm not going to freeze to death, and I know my video games aren't going to get dusty and dirty and possibly things like humidity damage and all that sort of stuff. I've got ducted air conditioning in here, so everything should be sweet. In the future, you know, there's room for expansion as well. Like I can take these pictures off the wall where these PVMs sitting. I can then put shelves above it. Same on the other side. When we first walked in, I can take those pictures off, put shelves there. So if I wanted to expand, then you know I've got those opportunities as well. There's still stuff in the garage that I want to bring in, but I'm not bringing it in until I've got the room. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. You know, I hope you liked the new video game room. Yes, certainly not as big, but it's certainly more comfortable for me. So until the next video, I'll catch you then.